Hi. Um, Kind of all my plans this week are off. um, I had to let go of a big project that I was working on. Um, it's not fair to the company I was working with. My heart's not in it right now, and I just want them to move on with somebody else. So I gave it up, and it's fine. It just opens up more time for things here and other things I have planned. So it's really okay, but it's too bad because it was going to be fun. But um, so I just thought today that we would do a sunflower painting. Sunflowers are the national flower of Ukraine. And they're so beautiful, and I know many of you love them, and I know we've done sunflowers here before, but I thought we would do one just kind of in a dreamy way. And I have, I'm just going to use my Winsor Newton paints. Maybe a little bit of Deep Light. I don't know, but just basic, whatever you have, it doesn't matter. We've all got yellows, browns, greens, purples. That's really all we need. And I'm gonna start. I'm gonna do this really dreamy, and I'm gonna start with a pen, or you could use a pencil or a watercolor pencil. I'm just trying to find it. Oh, here it is. I'm just going to use my fountain pen with that really light beige ink that I've talked about, and I'm just going to draw where I want the center of the flowers to be. So I think I'll do one like here. You can see how light this ink is. It's so light, it just will disappear and melt right into the painting, but it still gives us a little bit of an idea of where to do things. And I think I'll put another one kind of coming down like this, like maybe it's leaning down. And you can do these any way you want. You'll see when you're done watching. I suggest just watching it first and turning off the video and sitting down with your paints, taking a deep breath and wishing the people of Ukraine and the land of Ukraine the freedom and peace they deserve. And just think of their protection and safety. And it's kind of a meditative painting that way. And I'm going to do 3, I think, for, I'll do another one just kind of a little bit over here. So maybe one dead center, you know, like a circle, and then a couple kind of from the side. All right. So that's all I'm going to draw. I'm going to do 3, one for my son and daughter-in-law and grandson. All right. So choose a brush that holds a lot of water. I'm looking for, I actually might use, I'll see how this one is. I haven't used this in a long time. This is a Raven synthetic mop. We'll see how it does. And I'm going to start with some water around that circle. And I'm going to use yellows. Actually, I'm going to use some of the deep light yellows because they're so lovely. Some of these, they're just really vibrant, beautiful yellows. I also have this, you guys. I got this for the project I was working on with my Modern Mat. And this is a student grade set from Van Gogh. It's like 20 bucks. And I'll tell you what, these are darn nice paints. They really are. They're really not bad. So if you ever want a little travel set, it's the Van Gogh student set. Okay, so I'm gonna wet my Indian yellow because I love it. I'm gonna wet some quinacridone gold. I'm gonna wet some raw sienna. All my yellows, I'm just giving some water. My aureolin, my transparent yellow. My transparent yellow is dirty. It's gonna be green. Clean that up. And then the deep, deep light yellows, which are just really lovely. Gold and ochre. Okay, and I'm gonna start, I think, with aureolin, the lightest of them. And I'm just gonna put some yellow down. Some lighter yellow. And then I'm gonna switch to Indian yellow. And I'm gonna start painting petals. And you can do your sunflowers big, you can do them small. I'm just going to be kind of haphazard with it. I'm not trying to be anything particular. I'm going to go to a more lemony color. Maybe some quinacridone gold on the shadowy side at the bottom. So I'm staying sort of lighter and brighter at the top, a little bit more golden, and then a little bit darker down here. And of course, you know, when we go yellow, when we want to put a shadow in, we can just drop in a little bit of violet, right? So I'm just taking some Diox Violet. Can drop some in there. And then I'm just going to use my brush with just water on it and pull out some other petal shapes. Just keep it real simple for this first layer. And then I'm going to move to this one. Actually, no, I'm going to go ahead and go in the center first. So in the center, I think I'm going to use Perylene Violet. You could use any violet mixed with some red or something that's sort of a warm violet. I'm going to use some raw sienna or raw umber, a lighter raw umber, and just give a little bit of color like that. And then maybe some darker violet and let it blend with that yellow as it wants to. And then I'm going to go darker. I don't have black on this palette, but I have sepia. And I could go a little bit darker with sepia in a couple places. And then just use my brush to just sort of soften any of those little feathery things. I don't really want that. So just some darker, like violets, red violets, browns, blues, anything that kind of works like that for you. Okay. And then I'm going to hit it with a little quin gold. So you see, I'm just making some darker colors there. And I really want to use violet, just regular violet. You can mix it purple or anything and just sort of just bring a little bit of depth. There, love that. And you know what? I think I'm going to get some salt. I'll be right back. Okay, I'm going to sprinkle just a little bit of salt in the center of that, very lightly. Okay, now I'm going to move on. So I'm going to go with my light yellow again, and petals are kind of curved that way because And I just let it, let them curve and get some of that lovely Indian yellow in there. And at first I'm just sort of dabbing it in, and then later I'll take my brush through and make more petally things, right? Okay. These are kind of ragged sunflowers. Lovely. And the same thing in the center. You can use a little bit of brown, a little bit of violet, something dark that works for you. And don't be afraid to just use a little water to make it light in other areas. Okay, and then moving right along, I'll do the same over here, just a little yellow. So this is just really, you can see there's no real skill here. You're just putting some colors down in petally ways. And using some color that's darker to go in the center. And now we're gonna go green. So for green, I don't have a lot of greens here. Actually, I have a green in here. I'll use this green. I think there's a sap green. Just put in a little bit of green like that. Don't stress too much about it. Just kind of stick it right up there and just kind of make a petally shape, a leaf shape around the petals. And it can be any green, light, dark, whatever. Just little bits here and there. See, I'm just kind of going around some of the petal shapes. And you can let those yellows run right in there, or let the green run right into the yellow, whatever. That's part of this. And then a little bit more over here. And then I think I'll throw some cooler green in there, like Viridian. And throw some yellow into your greens. It's a little bit of yellow here and there. I'm just using transparent yellow, just for a little variation. And then a little bit of like burnt sienna, just to darken it a little bit here and there, right around the sunflower areas. Just a little bit. There. I love how all the colors sort of blend together. And then just take your plain paintbrush and just fill out this leaf area a little bit. And then I'm going to take, I think I'll take a little cerulean blue. And some water. And just throw a little water at it here and there. Cerulean blue. Just, yeah. Okay. All right, I feel like I want a little bit of green here. I'm just being real free with it. Okay. Okay, now I want to let this dry. And then I'm going to come back and just do a little bit of work to give things an edge. Okay? Okay. So, this is dry. Look how lovely. I'm just going to kind of rub some of the salt off. Oh, and I put salt down here too after I turned it off. I forgot to do it. And I just stuck a little bit, just sprinkled a little bit on the rest of it. So now we have this kind of dreamy, washy background. All right. Oh, and we're going to use a pointed round now, not that big brush. So something a little smaller that you have a little bit more control, okay? This is a size 4. And what I want to do now is I want to put a little bit of detail on the flowers, okay? And I'm going to use just quinacridone gold, so I'm just going to put it into my palette here, all right? Or you could use any of your yellows, like I could use a lemony yellow if I wanted, and just dirty it up with something, but we don't want to go green, so let me see here. Let's just use this one. So this is quinacridone gold. Okay, but you could also take yellow, any yellow that you used in the sunflowers, and add a little violet to it. So I'm going to use quinacridone gold and a touch of violet. I have a violet in my palette. If you don't have violet in your palette, you know the scoop. You just mix red and blue together, right? So I've got kind of this darker quinacridone gold. All right, nice and transparent. And I'm going to go in and sort of surround some petals. Do a few at a time, sort of surround it and soften. So I'm kind of creating petal shapes within here. So just put a little bit down and soften it. And you don't have to be, so that, like that looks like a petal to me. And I can go kind of behind it and put a little bit of a darker color, and maybe here. I'm just sort of surrounding the petals and then just softening things out. See what I mean? It just sort of giving it a little bit of shape. I could do one here, one like that. It might be a little darker there toward the edge. And each time I just sort of rinse my brush and sort of blend the color a little bit so it's not real. And there doesn't have to be any rhyme or reason to it. Just do what you think looks right. Okay, so just gave it a little bit of shape in places. And if I want to take a little bit of a brighter yellow maybe, and just, if I want to brighten up any of the petals, I can do that. I don't want to do too much. I think it looks really nice. Okay, just little bits like that. Don't do too much. In the center here, I can take, actually I wanna just leave it, all right? If I wanna go a little bit darker on the edges, I can take a little bit of the color I was using for those edges and just sort of put a little bit down just to get a little bit darker in parts of it. A little more contrast. We're always looking for contrast, right? Okay. Go back to this color and maybe just put in a few little pieces. Petals are going this way, up this way. Just surround some of it and soften. Just a little bit here and there. This one doesn't need too much. It's pretty great just the way it is. Looks really good. I don't need to do anything to the center of that one. It's just I'm adding a little bit of darkness, and maybe I'll add a little bit of darkness that goes underneath the petals of this one, where they come together, and soften. All right. Turn this around and I'm going to work on this one now. So again, just a little bit in there. Okay. And not, when I get really dreamy like this, just be real loose with it. Just soften a little bit with water. So I don't want you to get too precious with it. It's really supposed to be loose. Sometimes the petals are smaller. I did one like this a few years ago. I mean, it was almost the same lesson, but we're gonna take it a little farther this time. Okay, and on this one, I do want to put a little bit of that darker color I was using in there. Maybe just a touch of that bright yellow here and there. Okay. A little bit more. Okay, now we're going to move to the greens and just either make some green or use some green. Don't be afraid to keep it bright. I'm just going to make some green with Prussian blue and quinacridone gold. So it's kind of a darker green. And then here's where we can define around our petals. So I can like kind of define that a little bit more. And then take a brush and soften it. It's just like almost like just a really loose, free feeling. And if the petals are wet and they pull some of the green, that's awesome. See how you can just sort of define it a little bit, right? And I'm just using a little bit of the paint, and then the rest I'm just pulling out with water. And I'm not looking at a sunflower. I'm not, this is just, suggestive. If we paint a bright golden yellow and beautiful green leaves with a dark center, it's going to look like a sunflower. Just kind of get that little ragged edge. I'm going to make some more green. I like that mix of Prussian blue and quinacridone gold. It makes just a really beautiful, deep, dark, vibrant green. So sort of surround those petals. Then just use water so it gets lighter. Get in there. Then just water. It's just kind of tightening it up, you know. I think we already did over here, but I just want to make that a little bit more. Okay. Now, if you feel like you need darker within the green areas, you could always take some dark red. Here I'm using maroon perylene or alizarin crimson, and just take a little bit of dark red in places and then just let it bleed out. It's a nice contrast with the yellow and the green, and of course red makes green darker, and it just works, right? So if there are places where you want to go with a little bit more contrast, like you think that it would just be a little bit darker, it needs a little contrast, just go in there with some dark red, alizarin or maroon perylene, and it works really well. Then just always make sure to sort of feather it out. This is really beautiful right in here. All these colors. Really nice. I still don't think my centers are dark enough, so I'm going to take a little bit of my alizarin crimson and a little bit of that violet, just some kind of dark color. It doesn't have to be. And then I'm going to put some sepia in it and maybe some of that Prussian blue. Just kind of getting that darkness in there and just sort of fleck it around and push water into it. So you don't want, you want it to be soft, right? You don't want any hard edges. There. But it's important that you get that deep dark, and when that dries, you'll see we're going to do something fun to it. But we don't want it to be just a flat color either. Okay, I am happy with that. You know, I'm going to put a little bit more red. I just feel like this needs to be darker right there. And maybe a little bit right here. The red on top of the green is just so beautiful. So much more interesting than just a shadow color, you know? Anywhere else? Yes. I think right here. You see how I can just put a little bit there and then just use a brush with water on it to pull it out. Gorgeous. Okay. I think that's good. And I think I need a little bit of Indian yellow over here on this side, so I can just put just a little bit. And then just soften it in. Love these colors. Okay. All right, so let's let this dry. I just want to go a little bit right there. You could fuss endlessly, and it's fun too, so go ahead. Okay, so let's let this dry, and then we're going to come back and we're going to put some fun markings on it, okay? Okay, so I just think it's so pretty. All right, this is keeping me happy, you guys. It's making me, it's good. It's good. Okay, so I've got a white gel pen. I've got a couple pencils. I've got my thick Jackson's one. I'm just gonna see how it does. So what I wanna do is I wanna make a pattern, and I wanna start smaller in the center. So I'm gonna just put little tick marks. And the darker how do I want to say it? The darker the color is, the better it shows up. And I'm just making little tick marks that kind of fan out. And you might not be able to see it like that, but you can see it. Hopefully you'll be able to see it in the light. Looks really pretty. And I'll do like 3 rounds like that, and then I'm going to go a little bigger. you see? Can you see the, I don't know if you can. I don't know if this will pick it up or not. It doesn't look like it's picking it up, but it's really, it's shiny like dark silver. I'll see, oh, because I'm not looking at the right thing. There, you can see it in that light. See that? And then I'll do it again up here. Just do tiny ones. And then a few big ones. And then over here, I'm just going to do a few. And then sometimes, think about where the light's hitting them. Maybe just a couple in the center here. And just dab it with a cloth or with your finger. I'm so bad, I just use my finger for everything, but I know I probably shouldn't. Just like where there's a little bit of light, okay? Because white gel pen is just too stark. You just want a little bit of it. And then between the silver shining and the white gel pen, you've got a little bit of a highlight on there, okay? You can also highlight a little bit of a petal if you want to, every now and then, but I don't think this needs it at all. I really don't. If you want to, yeah, I don't think it needs it. It's really pretty. So that's it. I just wanted to show you how to do that little bit of, the light is not great, and I don't know if you're going to be able to see it in here, and I'll try to catch it on the photograph, but I love to do that with the inside of my sunflowers. All right, everybody, that's it. That's our sunflower project. I am not at liberty to say a word about anything that's happening, so I just know that I really appreciate and am counting on your prayers right now. And as soon as I can, I will update you and let you know how things are. But today, when I'm done here, I'm actually, it sounds hilarious because I never do this. I'm gonna go, I got my cozy fluffy blanket out, and I'm gonna make some tea, and I'm gonna take one of my pillows from bed, and I'm gonna go nestle into the couch and watch a movie or something. Yeah, I'm just trying to stay calm and feeling positive. So, all right, that's it. And yeah, I'll be in touch soon. I'll be back tomorrow. I was gonna do another kind of video, and then I'll do a dandelion lesson this weekend. Rick will be home tomorrow, so I'm really, really looking forward to that. He gets home late tomorrow night. It's been hard to be here without him, so. And his brother's doing okay, but he's really glad that he went. All right, thanks a lot, everybody. It means a lot to me. Thanks, bye.